Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to What She Says Sports. It is the weekend. All right, we are still outside on location. I love this time of year where we can be outdoors and stream. Hopefully, it's not noisy because it is noisy out here. People are lounging at a pool that you can't see over here on a rooftop. And behind me, all kinds of shenanigans happening. People getting ready for tonight for whatever they got going on. I had no idea that Syracuse played Tennessee here in Atlanta. I think I heard that earlier today. All right. Hey everybody, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? All right. So, y'all know why we're here. I want to talk about we talked about what happened in the game, right? And I posted it in case you missed it, right? I see why am I part 1 and part 2. I just took for people who did not watch the live stream, and for those that did, I took a more focused approach and posted kind of what you can see with my thoughts regarding what happened in the game, right? That it's obvious that there's a major weak link. And over the last 24 hours, the consensus is that the weakest link, is the offensive coordinator. Now, y'all know I've been doing my research, right? I've been doing my research. I looked into things. I have a list of things that I want to talk about, what needs to change, and just kind of point out some things, right? One of the things that I had to end up asking myself today after doing research was how on earth did Coach Prime end up with Pat Schumer, who held back CU yesterday, right? And Shador end up with Stefanski, who's also holding back somebody, which is Shador, right? I'm like, how does that happen in this year? I know these people couldn't have been plotting for the last 3 years, right? I mean, it's possible, but it seems too coincidental, right? That Pat Schumer, Stefanski's boss, ends up with Shador. And this first game, which was important, right? It might be a non-conference game, but it set the momentum for the season that Coach Prime could have won. The controllables weren't controlled. You know when they say control what you can control, right? The controllables weren't controlled. But see, the most glaring thing outside of Coach Prime being set up last night with poor play calling, intentionally poor play calling, and Shador being set up, whether it was the Panthers game, and definitely you could all see it with the Rams game. And there was something on the line, right? Coach Prime had never lost an opening season game. Also, too, for Colorado to defeat who they think the ACC champ is going to be, it was huge. There was something on the line last night, right? Something on the line. So, one of the takeaways outside of the fact that both Coach Prime and Shadors are being held down by people who have a relationship, a working relationship, who have had one, and then Pat Schumer saying something wayward about Shador being comparable to a known failure in the NFL of a quarterback, Daniel Jones, right? Who keeps getting countless chances, but Shador's not going to get those opportunities. So it seems to me that I don't think a lot of people realize what really happened in that game. I want y'all to understand the controllables, the threat that CU had against Georgia Tech, the wide receiver core, and our dual threat quarterback with his arm, deep ball accuracy, and run pass option. Do y'all know Pat Schumer shut down all of that? He shut down the wide receivers. He put handcuffs on Caden and wouldn't let him air it out. He didn't give the young man time to get into a rhythm, and he handcuffed his legs. Georgia Tech said, all we got to do is stop Caden Salter's run, and we're good. Georgia Tech didn't have to stop it. Pat Schumer did. And I personally don't know how Coach Prime went to sleep last night and could wake up and Pat Schumer is still his offensive coordinator today. He shut down every threat that CU had that was a known threat to take down Georgia Tech. And again, I don't know if people were paying attention, right? When the game started, see, Georgia Tech didn't even score to the second quarter. CU had the momentum up with 12 minutes still on the clock with a fumble recovery touchdown. That drive, right? That was a gift. an unexpected gift. And it seems like to me, the unexpected gift, once it became realized, CU scored off of that. It's like Pat Schumer just shut us down and gave Georgia Tech time to realize what their problem was, that they couldn't go with Haynes King like they wanted to. So while we were in a hovering idle pattern, while Pat Schumer was giving Georgia Tech time to switch from making adjustments. Okay, Haynes King not going to work. Let's go with the other Haynes, number one, the running back. And when they made that switch, all of the lights flipped on for them. And then our guys had to keep going back on the field on defense. They got exhausted. They played way too much of the game too fast. It was 3 and out at least 2 or 3 times. This man set up and called a game that favored Georgia Tech. Everybody knew the wide receiver core was going to do the damn thing. Everybody knew Caden Salter was a dual threat. So understand this, right? Shedeur Sanders is a pocket passer, but who's mobile? And that didn't work for Pat Schumer. You see, Shedeur had to take things into his own hands and get it done, right? Well, Caden is not Coach Prime's son. There will be consequences if Caden Salter goes against his offensive coordinator. And Caden Salter trying to be a QB1 in the NFL, and y'all already know how things are set up. Jim Crow is propped up on the front porch. So who really expected Caden Salter to go against a 23-year-old coach from the NFL who clearly has connections to where Shedeur is, who clearly has connections into the NFL, and he didn't want to end up like Shedeur in the draft. Remember, they were saying Shedeur called his own plays. They were upset by Shedeur saving the game. They were upset by Shedeur being a leader. They were upset by it. So this year, Pat Schumer's play calling in the Georgia Tech game was worse than last year. So I curated some game stats for us to look at with Colorado versus Georgia Tech, Colorado versus Baylor, which was last year, right? And Caden Salter, when he was at Liberty, his best game. Caden Salter had, I think, he was a leading rusher for touchdowns. He's expected to be the leading rusher for touchdowns in the Big 12. And Pat Schumer shut that down. He had 1 touchdown. I thought he had 2, but he had 1. His best game against New Mexico State at Liberty, 2 rushing touchdowns. And Pat Schumer wouldn't let him run. He wouldn't let him air it out. He wouldn't use the wide receivers. He basically cut off the arms and the legs for CU so they could only have a torso that got beat up by the run game for Georgia Tech. You don't think after 23 years in the NFL, Pat Schumer would know that if I keep the offense off the field, that means the defense going to be on and they're going to be tired? They didn't even need the altitude to kick in because our guys were tapping out. We're going to look at the stats. The new guys did the brunt of the work for defense. French, Keaton Wade from last year, but he's still relatively new. The guys that we thought on the line was missing tackles. They didn't have lead tackles. They had assisted tackles. But the new guys, Hughes, they were doing all of the work. They couldn't sustain against Georgia Tech's run because they was out there all night. I think in the second half, the offense didn't even have 12 plays. They had 35 total offensive plays with 23 in the first half, 23 to 25 in the first half. Do the math, and the difference was on the back half of the game. So I don't know if people realize that Pat Schumer sat up there and stifled all of the threats for CU. He did it so Georgia Tech wouldn't have to do it, just in case they came to town and couldn't do it. We were not going to win that game. People did not want Colorado to win that game, just like Stefanski didn't want Shedeur to look good against the Rams. Just like Stefanski set up Shedeur on a 4th and 1 crazy play against the Panthers, but Shedeur got out of it. Caden sits next to or behind Schumer in every single meeting that they have, which means he respects the man. He's not going to go against him. And that's not for him to do. That's for Coach Prime to do. Jordan Seaton looked visibly visibly hurt. We're going to hear from him, visibly frustrated. And he just called it out, right? So that means not just social media is a consensus that Pat Schumer was the obstacle to the win last night. It wasn't just about the win. People want to say we didn't lose by that much. If you happy with having 3 turnovers and not capitalizing on the majority of them, then this game is not for you. Never accept in a loss what you want in a win. Shannon Sharp, right? And I don't want to hear that this wasn't a conference game, because it's going to be the same way when it's a conference game. If you let Pat Schumer get away with shutting down an elite wide receiver core and a dual threat quarterback with his arm and legs, deep ball accuracy, rushing touchdown leader, then you might as well just go ahead and just surrender for the rest of the season. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. So let's get in here and take a look at some of the stuff that I put together. I think first we're going to hear from Jordan Seaton. We're going to hear what he said, and he calls it out, basically. So if social media is the consensus, this is coming from a leader on the team. Should Pat Schumer really be calling the plays next week against Delaware? And I'll tell you why changes need to be made before the Delaware game. I could have said the Houston game. No. I need them made in an easy game. I need the changes, the play calling change in a game that we should win. I need to see if we're going to control the controllables in a game we should win, which means when I get to Houston and they won and shut out their opponent today, when I get to Houston, then I should be good to go with new play calling. And I don't mean Pat Schumer is told what to do. I mean, I want you to get that headset, and I want you to give it to the 2 people who have offense in their title. Byron Leftwich is an offensive analyst, and Brett Bertolone came from Jackson State with Coach Prime, and he's some kind of offensive something coordinator something. One of those 2 people need to have that headset. And furthermore, why is it if Brett Bertolone was the offensive coordinator at Jackson State and Coach Pollock maybe the coordinator at Jackson State, and they came all the way to Colorado and they still there, why is it not one of them? Why is it not one of those guys who was successful for Coach Prime already? Why aren't they the offensive coordinator? We got 2 offensive coordinators that have basically set us up to fail. I don't know what else it's going to take. So let's listen to Jordan Seaton as he tells us his thoughts on the game. And in my opinion, he laid it out for you. It's not hard. You don't even need to guess at what he's saying. I just felt like he was point blank period with it, as respectfully as he could be as a member of a organized team sport. All right, let's see.
Do you feel like this team can win? Has to just run the football.
Yeah, we're going to establish the run game.
Let me know
I
if
think
y'all
people try to make football complicated. You run the ball, they stack the box. Now you throw the ball. Once they do that, now they spread out. Now we running RPOs. We got a quarterback with legs. Now we're going to let him use his legs. So now we got to get to the point where we're playing chess with teams, you know? And I think establishing a run will help, you know, the pass, the RPOs, the quick plays. It'll help everything. When you run the ball, people feel the run.
Do you feel like this team
one more time.
has to just run the football?
So they're asking him
We're gonna
about the
establish
game.
The run game. I think people try to make football complicated. You run the ball, they stack the box. Now you throw the ball. Once they do that, now they spread out. Now we running RPOs. We got a quarterback with legs. Now we're going to let him use his legs. So now we got to get to the point where we're playing chess with teams, you know? And I think establishing a run will help, you know, the pass, the RPOs, the quick plays. It'll help everything. When you run the ball, people feel the run.
What did he say when he said about establishing the run? You have a quarterback with legs, run pass option, right? The pass game, right? Do y'all know that Omarion Miller, who's supposed to be headed to the next level, only had 1 target last night? 1 target for Omarion. And the reason I pulled up our games last year to let you know, Pat Schumer clearly knows how Colorado plays football. I mean, he clearly knows we brought in another elite wide receiver core. He clearly knows after 23 years in the NFL, you can have a balanced run pass game. I know he knows this. And the way he played with Coach Prime last year, with Shador being a pocket passer and putting up 400 and 300 yards and right around 90, depending on the game, then you know it's successful. So if we bring in another elite wide receiver core, why on earth would you shut that down yourself? Why on earth would we bring in a dual threat quarterback that can do the run pass option? The only thing that Georgia Tech say they need to shut down, but you yourself, Pat Schumer, you shut it down. You shut down Omarion. You shut down Sincere Brown. You shut down Quentin Gibson. You shut down every viable asset that we needed to win that game. And it wouldn't have even been close. It would have been more of a UCF type game. And we're going to take a look at the UCF game because I want y'all to see what it looks like when we have a balanced game with an air attack. Just a reminder, because apparently, see, you don't know how to play football no more. So you let me know in the comments if you feel like Pat Schumer should be calling the plays going forward, because I do not. I think the change need to be made while they off, before they get back to practice. They have two options that are listed as their list of offensive coaches, Byron Leftwich and Brett Bertolone. Are you setting yourself up for more of the same and to be fired and for your players to jump ship? Because here's a reminder. I said this yesterday, right? Just a reminder. CU stars like Seton are repped by some of the biggest sports agency, Clutch Sports, Athletes First, David Mulligetta. Those agencies will not leave them to rot. They are too talented. Coach Prime must make adjustments at OC. It is mandatory now. And honestly, I don't even know why he wouldn't. I have no idea why he would want to move forward. And he could sit there and say, yeah, I'm disappointed that he wasn't used. How did you not know that that was going to happen? Isn't there something called the game plan? Do they not sit down and decide what the game plan is going to be? Or they just let Schumer do it and Coach Prime don't check behind him to make sure he can approve the game plan, that he knows the receivers will be involved? If I'm the wide receiver coach, I'm hot. The wide receiver coach did a damn good job of getting these wide receivers ready, a whole new crop of receivers, to the point people calling us wide receiver you, and Pat Schumer shut them down? You tell me that makes sense to you. And I don't know why Coach Prime would allow that. And for the people talking about put Juju out there, oh no, because Juju and Shador are a lot alike, and Shador had to call his own plays. We are not about to sit up here and throw 16, 17-year-old Juju into some kind of politics that's going on at CU, and he is not Shador, where he can buck his offensive coordinator. He too young for that. If Caden won't do it, and he a fifth-year senior, what the hell make you think Juju gonna do it? No, he don't have enough college experience to deal with this kind of politics. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And they gonna fool around and not make no changes, and he gonna be gone. And he not gonna be the only one. You being warned. You being warned. All of these guys are repped up. Even London Merritt, who's sitting at third string, is repped up with Athletes First. They probably think he's too good to be sitting at third string. They gonna be in his ear. People know who's repping these guys. Some of these schools gonna send somebody to talk to somebody else to put a bug in somebody's ear. You see Texas Tech playing O-lineman $5 million. You really think Clutch not gonna get a call from somebody? Hey, let me get Jordan Seaton over here to Alabama. Let me get Jordan Seaton over here to Ohio State. Let me get Jordan Seaton over here to Texas, because as you can see, they lost. They need people. They need people. And what I think was interesting is I watched a bit of the Texas-Ohio State game. And let me tell you the difference in the quarterbacking and the commentary as opposed to Shador and or Caden dealing with Pat Schumer. Okay? So in the second half of the game, Texas had not scored. It was 0-7 on the back half of the game. All I heard I heard Louis Riddick and some other guys. I recognized Riddick's voice. You know what I heard? I heard oh man, what's going on with the coaching? Now, because Arch Manning has no points, he getting sacked. What's going on with the coaching? What's going on with the play calling? I wonder if Eli Manning and Peyton Manning are here. I wonder what they think. Oh my God, what could be happening with the play calling and the coaching? And how is it Arch Manning only has 38 yards for the game? But then it's over here in Colorado, it's Shadua's fault. He hold the ball too long. It's Caden's fault. I'm like, look here. Caden is allowed to have first game jitters, okay? Caden is allowed. He's at a different level. He's in a different environment. And honestly, he was just trying to make something happen, just like we saw Shadua do. And what did they say Shadua did? He played hero ball. He wouldn't have had to play hero ball if he had an offensive coordinator that knew how to call games for a damn quarterback. Pat Schumer's problem is the same as Kevin Stefanski. They don't want a quarterback. They want a game manager. They just want somebody to hand off the ball to the running back. And I want you to throw these little short passes to the running back. They don't have no respect for wide receivers, and they don't want quarterbacks, dual threat or pocket passers. Pat Schumer's problem is the same as Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski has proven or tried to prove that Deshaun Watson, who's a dual threat, doesn't fit his system. Simultaneously, he's trying to prove that Shadua Sanders, who's a pocket passer, doesn't fit his system. So you don't want a quarterback. You want a Dylan Gabriel that you know is not going to be able to sling it down the field and deal with the pressure. So you want him to hand the ball off to the running back. That's why you didn't get any O-linemen, because they don't need to do much. And that's why you didn't get no wide receivers in the draft. But what you did get was what? You got two running backs. That's what Pat Schumer wants to do. Who did Kevin Stefanski learn from? So now at CU 2 years in, Pat Schumer, Shadua Sanders don't fit his system. And neither does Kevin Salter, because he wants a game manager. He wants to utilize the running backs in every aspect. He want to call the same plays over and over and chop it up down the field 5 yards at a time. It's almost like the pass to DeKalen, the touchdown upset him because that's not what he wanted. He didn't want the ball thrown to DeKalen. He wanted it passed off to DeKalen. So Coach Prime got the same problem Shadua have. Shadua can't do nothing about his problem. He signed his contract. He not Baker Mayfield, so he can't go toe-to-toe with Stefanski on the sideline. But Coach Prime is Pat Schumer's boss. So, again, he couldn't even protect his own son last year. How the hell he going to protect Caden? Caden, thankfully, was only sacked once. But the O-line on the right side, I got two numbers for you. 53 and 55. Useless. Useless. I rewatched the game today. Useless before we even get to the second quarter for number 53. Then when we got probably to the second half, 55, useless. If they on the same depth chart, just toss them to the wind, bro, and get you somebody else. Coach Prime said they got 8 guys that can start, and you only need 5. He going to need to rotate to somebody who can prove they can block on the right side. It's a shame for the right tackle to still be a problem. This is going on year 3, the same problem with the right tackle. And you bring the same people back, number 55, that was a problem. And then we got number 53 in, and he just as problematic as somebody that was here last year. If I'm the recruiter, I'm pissed off. I done went out here and got all this elite talent. I done went and got Zach Atkins from IMG, and we don't even throw him the ball but once or twice. Oh, Marion trying to go to the league, we give him 1 target. So you're trying to shut down the wide receivers, and you know they trying to get out of here. They trying to get to the next level. You know Caden trying to get to the next level. He sit next to you every day, and you shut him down too. So what the hell is your goal? To disrupt the program, just like Stefanski. To keep certain people from making it. Birds of a feather. Birds of a feather. I can't believe this man was allowed to shut down all of the assets that made CU advantageous and wore out the defense down next to nothing. That's shameful. That is shameful. And if he's allowed to call plays, it's going to happen again. And if Coach Prime, for whatever reason, don't want to take that headset, he better surround him with some additional personnel, like he got that O-line with 3 coaches. The O-line got 3 coaches. Then maybe the offensive coordinator need Byron Leftwich and Pat Schumer and Burt Bodalone to agree on what the hell is going to happen. But you can't be afraid to fire these people. Yeah, it might not look good that this your second OC in 2 years, but I will tell you what, it ain't going to look good if if year 3 look like year 1. That ain't going to look good for you either. See, you damned if you do and you damned if you don't. So you might as well save your season, bro. You already got Byron Leftwich on the ground, offensive analyst, which is what Pat Schumer was. Put him on in there. Just put him on in there. And if you don't want to put him in there or he don't want to be there, you brought Burt Bartolone. You just gave him a new title. You put him in there. You brought him from Jackson State. You were successful at Jackson State. Put him in there. Put him in there. But you're going to need to move Pat Schumer out the way because this man cut off the arms and the legs of the Colorado Buffs against a winnable Georgia Tech team. He did the work for Georgia Tech. You could see the look on Brent Key's face that they couldn't figure out what to do. They needed time to try something else. And Pat Schumer gave them that time. And he shut us down in the process. That's unforgivable. Malicious. And the fact that he already trashed Shador, I don't even know how he was allowed to come back. Him and number 55 can pack it on up and get the hell on. So let's look at these numbers I put together I pulled together some stats, right? Because I wanted y'all to see. Plain and simple. Sometimes when you visualize things, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense when you visualize things. All right. So I'm getting ready to share. All right. So this is Georgia Tech, okay? This is let me see. Let me make myself smaller so y'all can see it. Can y'all see the screen? Thumbs up if you can see the screen. Let's see. Maybe I can zoom it in a little bit more. All right. Let me see if y'all can see the screen. Let me know. Can you see it? Can y'all see the screen? Let me know if you can see the screen. Okay, screen good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Okay, so okay, all right. So as you can see right here, this is Georgia Tech 27, Colorado 20. Now these are team stats, okay? So when you look at the total yards, we only had 305 to their 463. Passing, they were 143, rushing 320. So they actually went with a ground attack because why? They started out with the quarterback air attack, but it wasn't working, right? 1 interception and 2 fumbles. And then Colorado had 159 passing and 159 rushing. So that seems really balanced, right? But we left a lot of meat on the table, right? So when you get to total yards of play, when you get to total yards per play, we were 5.1, 6.8. First downs, time of efficiency, all of that, possession, right? They had the ball for 32 minutes. We had it for 27, right? So let's look at the players, okay? And we're not worried about Georgia Tech players. We're talking about Colorado players. So Caden Salter, 1 touchdown, 159 yards, 17 to 28. Okay, that's about 60%. He normally does about 65 to 70%. It just depends. But that's kind of low for Caden Salter. 28 reps altogether, right? Then we have rushing. So Micah and Caden had the brunt of the carries. Then it goes to Simeon, who had 5 carries for 30 yards at about 6 yards on average. Now, I said with the naked eye, I could see that Simeon Price was a bit more effective in terms of yards gained. But we kept going with Micah, who ran to the side a lot. He ran into the middle at first, but I noticed Micah's tendency is to run to the side a lot. And maybe that's one of the plays that Schumer's calling. And then Quentin Gibson and the Kalen. So each of them had one carry and 7 yards, 2 yards total. Quentin got a little further than Simeon, right? And the Kalins had short runs, right? When he had a run. Now let's go to the receivers. And this is we're gonna switch to another CU game. Omarion Miller was one target. People saying he needed me to move on quickly. Free Omarion. That's what I saw on X yesterday, late last night, early today. Hashtag free Omarion. The Kalen Taylor, 3, right? Hakeem Williams, 2. Zach Atkins, the tight end, 2. That's it. Draylon Miller, 2 for Draylon. Joseph Williams, 1. Definitely would have expected more than that. Michael Welsh, 3. Quentin Gibson, 1. Simeon Price, 1. So who got the majority? The tight end, Hakeem. Actually, no, the Kalen Taylor. So he had 1 touchdown. Nobody else had much of anything else. His average yards were 12. Omarion was 39. They definitely should have had another long pass to Omarion. And then he ended up, what they say, tweaking his hamstring. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, maybe because he was just sitting there not being utilized, right? But for this to happen at wide receiver U when this was your best asset along with your quarterback, that's sad. That's sad. All of that talent that we have just sitting there. Another thing this does, it lets wide receivers who are thinking of coming to see you, I don't know. You might get the play, but I don't know if you're going to get in the game, right? And then on defense, as you can see right here, Reginald Hughes, number 50, Martavius French, Keita Wade. These are the new guys. Arden Walker was for three tackles. I don't know if he had any. I feel like he had a blitz on the quarterback. DJ McKinney had an interception. Then you had Barnes, 3 tackles, Quincy Wiggins, 2 tackles, RJ Johnson. Hell, I thought most of these guys down here, Otis, not Ben, but I thought Otis and Samuel Okanola, 0 of 1. Tafik Thomas, 0 of 1. McNeil, 0 of 1. Isn't this the line primarily? Unless they third string now. I was shocked. I was shocked to see that. Like, how is this the case? For Samuel Okanola, Tafik Thomas, and McNeil to have 1 assisted tackle, but no actual tackles? That's not making no sense to me. So it looked like the new guys, like I said, the new guys did a lot. Again, I don't know how. I don't know how this goes here. It's just not making no sense that the guys at the bottom are the ones who were there last year, and I thought that they were the line. I really did. I thought these guys were the line. Oh, it looks like Isaiah Harch played a little on defense too. They had him on both sides of the ball. Okay. Because I know I saw him. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if he played. Did he play receiver? Let me see. Yep. He played both sides of the ball. He had 1 pass for 11 yards, 1 reception. And then over here, he had a tackle. See? You see what I'm saying? He had his own tackle. And he had a reception for 11 yards. He should have been out there. It's a waste of talent. So let me tell you what this going to do. This going to hurt recruiting. Because now, let me tell you what people are already saying. They're already saying, can Coach Prime coach? They're already saying, well, it seems like Coach Prime, hold on for a second. It's like they're saying, it seems like all Coach Prime is good for is getting people to the school, for being a motivational speaker. But when it comes to the big games, he can't coach. That's what they're saying. And I don't understand how Coach Prime could have any confidence in Pat Schumer unless he knew what Pat Schumer was going to call beforehand and he allowed it. Because you had to be surprised if you say in a press conference, I I'm disappointed we didn't use him more. That's sad, bro. You telling the world you underutilizing who's supposed to be your star quarterback while he trying to get to the next level. Not only are you underutilizing him, you allowing somebody to handcuff and put shackles on his feet and his arms. The announcers were saying it sure would be nice to see Caden air it out a little more. Didn't even give him time to get warmed up. That's intentional. That's intentional. I can't recall very many football games where you restrict the quarterback, the legs, the arms, and the whole wide receiver group, the entire wide receiver core. That's intentional. That is intentional. So that's why the immediate change needs to be Pat Schumer is replaced immediately before they get back to practice, before they get to Delaware, immediately, or your whole season is going to end up like year one. And that's probably what they counting on. That's probably what they counting on. You don't do these things for nothing. You don't do it just because, hey, I don't like you. You do it for there to be an end result. It's a means to an end. It's a means to an end. It's the same thing that's happening to Shedeur and Cleveland. They shutting him down. Pat Schumer is shutting down Coach Prime. Georgia Tech didn't have to stop the wide receiver core and Caden Salter. Pat Schumer did it for them. I don't know what else you need. All right, let's get back to the plays. All right, so this is Baylor. All right, so you just saw what you saw for stats, right? So we're 432 over here. I think passing is, what is it, 341? Rushing, 91. And then yards per play, 5.2, right? So maybe had we gone more with guys that were closer to the 6 yards per carry, Simeon Price, maybe it would have been better, right? I will tell you, Pat Schumer not utilizing the running backs properly made Marshall Faulk's impact and contribution look futile. I'm just gonna put it out there for you. All right. So let's go over to the player stats, the team stat. The player stats. So the player stats here. Let me make sure y'all can see. Okay. So the player stats for Shedeur, 25 of 41. Now that's not that great, right? That's like what, 58, 60%? No, not too far from Caden. So when people say Caden was missing passes, Shedeur has missed passes too, right? But look at how many yards Shedeur had. 341. Look at how many attempts Shedeur had. 41, as opposed to 28 for Caden. Yep, 28. So Shedeur had the opportunity to throw the ball more, had 2 touchdowns. The more you throw the ball, the more touchdowns you're going to have, right? Especially if you have, if the defense is weak, you can get it out there. Then let's go to the rushing game, right? So this is when we had Isaiah Augustave. So it looks like on the rushing game, nobody even got to 5-point yards, but they did get to almost 100 yards, right? Jimmy Horn Jr. being used kind of like Quincy Gibson was used versus Georgia Tech. Then you have Michael Welch, who only had 9 carries for 22 yards. Again, didn't get very far, right? Didn't get very far at all. And then when you go back to yesterday's game and you look at the rushing for, let me make sure I'm looking at Michael Welch. He's 11 carries for 5.8 yards. But then you have Simeon, who was 5 for 6 yards. So why are we stuck with Micah when we should? I mean, every little inch counted, right? Every inch counted. So let's look at the receiving. Now look at this. Now just look at this. Travis Hunter, 7 targets for 130 yards. Omarion, 2 for 71. This is about basically what he did last night, except for if he'd had 2 at 39, he would have had 80 yards. So the point is, he only got 1 target. He actually had 2 here. Now, mind you, Travis Hunter is gone. So where did all of his targets go? To the running back? To the running back? Because Omarion got one less. So where did he go? To the running back? Where these yards? Who is this person right here that replaces Travis Hunter? Was this supposed to be Sincere Brown? Was this supposed to be, who is this? Where did all of this go? How do you look at a game plan and you know I had a guy with 7 receptions for 130 yards and it just disappears? It doesn't get reallocated to the next wide receiver core. Then you had LeJounte, 4 carries, 68 yards. Where did this time go? Where did this yardage go? Same thing, Jimmy Horn Jr., 440. Where did it go? If Omarion had the highest at 39, then what the hell happened to all of this with the wide receivers? So you left a lot on the table not using your elite wide receiver core. But the crazy part is, in practice, that's all they showed us. All they showed us. They showed us JoJo catching the ball. They showed us Sincere Brown making one hell of a contested catch. I know I saw Omarion, right? We saw the secondary, and they did what they did in practice. We saw the running backs running the ball. They did that in practice. But it looks like in the game, Pat Schumer decided to turn the running backs into wide receivers. As if wide receivers don't have special skills and height. You don't have to be tall to be a running back. The Kalen Taylor really isn't tall. So this is a major difference right here. The tight end was Savell Smalls, 1 target. Sam Hart, 1 target. And then when we get to defense, Cameron Silver Craig, 10 of 3. Did anybody have 10 tackles? Straight dog. That's why he in the NFL. That's why he in the NFL. Reginald Hughes was close, 9 of 2. So Reginald Hughes pretty much almost matched Cameron Silver Craig. Almost. 9 of 2 versus 10 of 3. Yep. Then Nakai Hill Green. That's Montavious French. DJ McKinney. Travis Hunter. Shane Cokes. Yep. These guys were basically on it. Let's go down here to the bottom and see who's down here. BJ Green. 2. Yep. He didn't even need no assist. He just straight by himself. And Carter Stoudemire. RJ Johnson, 1 of 1. Keaton Wade, 1 of 3. 1 of, he improved this year. He did more with what they gave him. Trevor Woods gone. Anaquan Barnes still there, 1 of 0. Charlie gone. Colton Good. He actually scored, I think, in Tennessee. Got an interception, something. I saw him. Because they played Syracuse. Jace Feely and who's that? Palazzo. So where's the guys like the McNeil? Where are they? We didn't play them last year, or were they injured? McNeil, I know he was there, but I don't see him on here. Tawfiq. Maybe Tawfiq Thomas is new. I don't know. Anyway, so as you can see, it's a big difference in usage on the receivers. It's 130 yards unaccounted for, right? And the most yards one receiver had was 39. So let's move on. All right. This is one of the most complete games that Colorado played, right? This is one of the most complete games that they played. This is UCF. UCF is over here to the right with 21 points, 48. This is what the score should have looked like. This should have been Colorado 48, Georgia Tech 21. Why? Because we had 3 turnovers for the defense early on in the game, not late in the game, early on, which set the tempo for the game, right? What happened? The defense went out there and hunted. They said Pecco taught these guys to go hunt for the ball, and it worked 3 times. We scored off of, I think, the first fumble, but the second fumble interception, we did nothing with. Nothing. And in fact, we were 3 in and out down so fast, we didn't even give the guys on defense time to catch their breath. So Pat Schumer wore them down. There's a lot happening here. But if you've been playing football, if you've been a coach for 23 years, you know where the variables are where you could affect the game. You know that if you cut out your wide receiver core, you know that you're not going to get as many touchdowns in passing. But that's crazy considering you just had a quarterback who was a pocket passer with 400 yards. Now you got a guy that can run and throw. So you should have had 500 yards. But you didn't let him air it out. And not only did you not air it out, you didn't even let him get in rhythm to air it out. So when he tried it, he just wasn't in rhythm yet. Kaden Salter, in my opinion, deserves the opportunity to keep going forward, just like Arch Manning does. But you see, the narrative was different surrounding them, right? Arch Manning gets grace and people concerned with the coaching and the play calling. But not at CU. It's all Caden's fault. It's all Shador's fault. It's obvious Shador is vindicated. And the fact is, if we could see right now on game one that Pat Schumer was a problem, did Coach Prime know that last year? That's a real question. So UCF had 461 total yards. Colorado had 400 and looked like 18, right? Passing, they had 284. We had 290. Pretty balanced game, right? But look at the score difference. It's what we did with what we had, the opportunities. Rushing yards, 177 to 128. Now, remember, they said we couldn't stop the run. We actually did stop the run. We couldn't stop it last night. There's a lot of conversation as to we should have been playing 5-man instead of 4. The guys couldn't sustain it because they were on the field so much. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm sure the formations are a problem because they always are. I said the same thing about the Nebraska game. Sometimes it takes CU too long to figure out what the hell to play. And I feel like you should know that because that's what film is for. I mean, I could tell you in my sleep, Haynes King was going to RPO the ball. Haynes King and Salter to the same quarterback, except Haynes King coach didn't put the cuffs on him. Even when he was injured, even when he was doing bad, you see, they still put him out there. They gave him opportunity. Where is it? They restricted Caden. So they helped further Haynes King's career in the NFL, where they set Caden's up to be suspect. Keep that in mind. And then we have Colorado was 6.5 yards per play on average, and they were 5.8. So the 6.5, which was 6 was close for Simeon Price. I know y'all heard me say on my videos and on the live stream, they should have kept Simeon Price out there, but they didn't. It's like Schumer knew Michael was going to keep running to the side, or he kept him running to the side, but I don't know. He just kept putting it back in there. So as you can see, time of possession, they had the ball more than we did. It wasn't that far off, right? We didn't have any fumbles. They had 2. We capitalized. That's why the score is 48, because we capitalized. We had 1 interception. They had 2. We capitalized. We had the ball about the same time. It's just what we did with the ball when we got it. We didn't capitalize. And I don't think Pat Schumer wanted to capitalize. So that's what we are with UCF, and that's what the score was supposed to look like. So let's take a look at the player stats, right? Let's see how we got there for CU. Shador was 28 of 35 with 290, almost 300 yards. He had 35 opportunities to throw the ball and connected on 28 of them, right? Then the run game. Decent numbers on the run game, right? We got over 100 yards. Isaiah Agustave, 4 carries, 39 yards, 9.8 yards on average. That's actually pretty good. Then there's Dallin Hayden, who's injured. He was around 3 yards per carry, right? And then Michael Welch, 5.2. So Micah is still the same as he was last year, which means if Dallin come out, is he going to still be the same that he was last year? Which meant we should have made sure we kept Isaiah Agustave. And if we okay with him being gone off the team, then we need to make sure Simeon Price is that guy. This ain't hard to figure out. It's just numbers, right? Charlie Offerdahl, 3.7. That's to be expected, right? He was a walk-on and still got something done. And then Draylon Miller, 4. So right here on receiving, look at this. Look at these numbers for these damn receivers. All unaccounted for last night. Omarion had the most at 39. Will Shepherd had that times 2, almost 3. 4 receptions for 99 yards. Y'all see it? You see what's happening here. None of this is accounted for. None of it. Not even with the running backs. None of it. None of it. That's insane. And what's the difference right here? Look at Shador, 290. What was Caden Salter? 159? This is a game that was balanced. Just like the running game had one something. Let me go back to the run game and see what it was. Team stats. Passing yards, 150. Rushing yards, 146. They look good on paper, don't it? That look real good on paper. But then this is the kind of ball we played last year. And then that's why we lost. Because now you can account for over here. Well, we have team stats. Over here, 284 passing yards. Minus 150. That's about 130 something. 130 yards unaccounted for. Unaccounted for, just gone. It looked good on paper. I ran as many yards as I threw the ball, but that's not what you're supposed to do when you have a dual threat QB. You're supposed to have him yards up there because he has deep ball accuracy, because that's why we got him, just like the last guy. And he has legs. So technically, you should have did better. You should have did better. You should have did better. This is how you know it was intentional what happened, because Pat Schumer was the OC for this game right here. He know how Colorado play ball. He know Colorado can get 177 yards on the ground and 284 in the air. He know we can amass 461 yards and still everybody eat. But that's not what he did. He held us back. Cut off the arms and the legs. The wide receivers, the quarterback, arms and legs. Missing about 130 yards. And maybe had we not been in and out on 3 drives, when the defense went to hunt for the ball and came up with it, that's your 130 yards. Just divided by 3. It's not that difficult. Not that difficult at all. We were set up. This wasn't an accident because Pat Schumer is not new. Caden is new. And Shador didn't complete all of his passes. So Caden don't have to be perfect. And people didn't even realize he never even got the opportunity to get in rhythm. Instead of people hating on Caden, they should realize the maliciousness that took place. That Pat Schumer did Georgia Tech's job to shut us down. So now let's move on to Caden Salter, one of his games before he got to CU. So you can see what this young man is capable of, right? All right. This is New Mexico State versus Liberty. I don't care who he playing. It don't matter. The point is, you can see what kind of quarterback what he's capable of putting up, regardless of the opponent. Okay? This is what he's capable of. 15 to 25, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's passing. Then on the rushing side, they have guys averaging 5, 6, 4, 3, and 2 here also, right? Then when you go down to their receivers, look at these numbers. This is what he know. This is what he used to. DJ Daniels, 129. They had somebody from CU. That was his name. I wonder if that was the same guy. But anyway, 129 yards, just like Travis Hunter. Just like Travis Hunter. Almost identical. And then 45. Look at this. Look at these targets. 4, 2. This is what it's supposed to be. The ones should be at the bottom because they're not the starters. If you have 1, 2, 3 in rotation, X, Y, and slot, this makes sense, right? This makes sense. This guy averaging 32 yards a carry, that's Omarion. That's Travis Hunter. So if you want to know who your Travis Hunter is, it's Omarion. And they shut him down. And then on defense, look at these tackles. 4 of 7, 4 of 2. Hell, our defense is actually better. So it should tell you that our defense did their job. No, they couldn't sustain it because they was on the damn field all night. Thanks to Pat Schumer 3 and out on opportunities that we didn't capitalize on. So for this game, they had 526 yards. Now, that's not far-fetched based on the way Georgia Tech played, considering we secured 3 turnovers, forced 3 turnovers. That's not out of the question at all. Rushing yards, 230. Passing yards, 276. That's a balanced game, is it not? Is it not? Average yards per play, 6.8. We aren't that far off. We weren't that far off, right? So what it tells you is Pat Schumer didn't do his job. He didn't call a good game at all. He did not. He did not call a good game. Pat Schumer set up CU. I don't give a damn what he say. You can sit and look and see. He was there last year. He know how we play ball. He know the UCF game was complete. And I want you to know, 55 caused a penalty right when we would get ready to score in the UCF game that pushed us back 15 yards, just like he did last night. Down to the T. That's why they kicked him out the game. But why was he in there? Why is he even on the team? Forgiveness is one thing. God said forgive. He didn't say trust. He didn't say trust. Trust in Pat Schumer is foolish. Trust in 55 is foolish. Trust in 53 is foolish. They were mostly chasing Caden. They weren't blocking for him when he went over to the right. But you notice Pat Schumer kept sending him over to the right. So Pat Schumer tried to set up Shedeur, and now he's trying to set up Caden. That's it. That's what happened. That's why Coach Prime needs to make immediate changes unless he just want to be fired. Because that's what the hell is going to happen. Because I'm going to tell you what they say. I told y'all I'm an executive. I know what I'm looking at. So this your third year, and you didn't do nothing to prevent year 3 from turning into year 1. So you just let it happen. You knew Schumer was a problem because you said it. He didn't use Keaton Salter as the dual threat he is. But you let him keep calling plays, and you let this keep happening, and you let our best recruits get disgruntled and leave, and you hurt our recruiting. Let me tell you something about businesses. People like, well, Coach Prime just got that guaranteed contract of $54 million. I'm like, they will get that from TV revenue and send him right out the damn door. Understand. They know they're going to get it from TV revenue. That's bonus because you don't even have to get that. Understand, all of our games aren't even televised. I wondered why they held back a little bit. They didn't believe in us. And then look what happened with game 1. They're not going to believe in us for sure now. That's why they just going to step it up week by week. Well, we'll see. We'll see. He already hurting the program. The recruiting, if I'm the recruiter, I'm upset that I brought all these people here for their talents to be wasted. The defense included. Defense's talent is wasted when they go and hunt and get 3 turnovers and do nothing. Wide receivers' talent are wasted when you only got 39 yards with 1 target for your best receivers. For the whole damn group. You got about 17 of them. That's wasting talent. Then you got Jordan Seaton out there, the leader of the team, visually frustrated. That hurts morale in the locker room. Then we lose to Georgia Tech in an embarrassing fashion. That hurts them wanting to sign us up for more TV revenue. So when we get this $54 million, if you let him stay out there and ruin this season, just like you did year 1, we're going to fire you. No, I might as well cut my losses. I already got Doc Livingston with a contract, right? So I'm going to put him on up there next. And then we're going to get the TV revenue just like we had when you was here. See, you got to learn how to make yourself indispensable. Coach Prime is in a situation where he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. And what are you supposed to do when you're in that situation? You better do the right thing. You better do the right thing. I don't know who feelings you trying to spare or what image you trying to keep up by letting Pat Schumer play you like Sean Lewis did, because that's all that's happening. That's all that's happening. In fact, this is worse. Pat Schumer play calling was worse versus Georgia Tech than it was last year. So he don't have nowhere to go. He not even trying to be better than last year. He worse than last year in game 1. I told you, it's like Schumer is basically daring Coach Prime to fire him. I'm like, you ain't got to fire him. Just get that damn headset and give it to somebody else and let's keep it pushing. Just like he told the players, when you make a mistake, just throw it out like garbage and keep it pushing. That's what he needs to do. I'm not going to say, I don't even know who the hell hired Pat Schumer, because I still think it's strange that Shedeur over there was Stefanski, and now we got Schumer over here messing it up. Schumer is worse than he was last year. This was intentional. So Coach Prime has to make changes immediately, because what the hell is going to be the difference? There's no reason Pat Schumer got to keep calling plays. There's none. That's why we got Brett Bertelon and Byron Leftwich. Caden deserves a pass. He did what he was told to do, and he wasn't perfect, but neither was Shedeur. And Caden is not Shedeur. He's not going to run out here and call his own plays because he's not Coach Prime's son, and he's trying to get to the league, and he knows that Schumer is connected. People say he looks scared. I would too, because I don't know what to do. I want to run it myself, but I don't want to cross up this guy and I get in trouble. I just met these people. He is in a sticky situation. But I know Coach Prime going to hear from his parents because he will hear from me. Juju's parents too, you will definitely hear from me. I'm going to need you to leave my son right there on that bench till you straighten that out. I'm going to need a new offensive coordinator. You brought in Byron Leftwich. You give him that headset or you leave my son on that bench because you're not going to mess up my son's opportunity. The NFL was mad at Shedeur for calling his own plays, and y'all want Caden to go on out there and do it. Caden don't have the connections to veto his offensive coordinator like that. Hell, Shedeur don't have him either. You see what happened. These guys are young black quarterbacks that the league already don't want. Whether dual threat or pocket passer, it don't matter. They don't want them. Caden is not number 15. He's trying to get to number 5. I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for all of them because they're going to have to go back to practice and see the same thing over and over again. And how long is Coach Prime going to let it bleed before he stitch it on up and fix the problem? So I'm getting ready to see what y'all are saying. One thing about it, I don't do excuses. I don't. I'm going to see a problem. I'm going to call it out, and I expect you to fix it because you have too many people who you basically, ask to deliver. So now I need you to deliver. I need you to deliver. I can't see the same thing I saw in year 1 and year 3. See, what I don't like about year 1, see, we know by game 4, we knew after the Oregon game without a doubt what the problem was. I did a video on it, right? And the season was just a wash because they act like they couldn't do nothing about it. And then it got late in the season, and we had to watch Shedeur get hurt. We're not doing that, bro. We're not doing that. See, you ain't going to do it either. Nope. Because them parents going to call up there. So let me see what y'all saying. Hey, how you doing, Tina? Hey, Mac, how you doing? Grand evening, grand evening, grand evening. Colorado is fine. We need to stop overreacting. No, Colorado is not fine, Salty Vet, and I'm sorry you feel that way. But you keep on thinking that if you want to. Because if Colorado was fine, the corrections would have been made in the second half. How many touchdowns did we score? Hey, Queen, how you doing? Love you, sis. Love you too, Mac. Yes, in the A. It said that week 1 loss against a Power 5 out of conference team. Those wins and you trying to make the 12-team playoffs are crucial regardless of Georgia Tech ranking at this time. Yup. Hey, how you doing, Amber? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It said, nope, the weakest link is Salter. You definitely don't know Salter. You definitely don't know Salter. Salter showed we know who Salter is. It said Roger Goodell. What's that, Life in Florida? It said this was huge. Yeah, it was huge. It said, get it, sis. Tell him the damn truth. Yeah. Yep. It said Pat Schumer is a hot trash, Brian. Hot trash. The internet has a consensus feeling that Pat Schumer need to be gone. Hey, James. It said Pat Schumer is working for Coach Prime opposition. I know one thing. He gift wrapped at that damn Georgia Tech game to Brent Key. I think it was people that didn't want us to win that game, and he made sure we didn't. That man shut down every viable asset we had to win and didn't control the controllables at all. It says Salter averaged 3.3 yards rushing. He can't show and refuses to run. That's BS. He followed the plays that was called. That man is not about to sit up here and sit up here and cross his OC, and you can't expect him to. If Juju was out there, Juju ain't coming out there. For what? So the right side of the O-line can get him sacked? Yeah, okay. You remember Juju's the same quarterback as Shedeur. I don't know if he has the same escapability just yet. Shadeur's escapability is where it is because of what he's been through. Juju is fresh out the box. Caden can get away probably faster. So no, y'all leave Juju right where he is until Coach Prime fix this mess. We need Byron Leftwich. We need somebody. Byron Leftwich, Bert Bertalone. I don't know how you bring people from Jackson State and take 3 to 4 years to give them a job. It don't make no sense to me. I don't know if he was on the sideline, to be honest. I don't know what he looked like. It says CU should be 1-0, just like last year. They should have been 11-2. Yep. So many things happened last night. The media gonna hold off on adding new games, right? The media gonna hold off on adding new games. Recruiting gonna start rethinking. The players on the ground gonna start getting disgruntled, especially if they don't see nothing changes. I have never seen Jordan Seaton that visibly upset. And that was before the clip that I showed you. He's the new pass coordinator. Well, he definitely need to be upgraded to a headset. Definitely upgraded to a headset. Hey, Angela, how you doing? It said that defense is still letting players run all over them. For some reason, Colorado cannot stop the run. Same thing as year one, right? Somebody trying to prove a point. It said he talking about Pat Schumer. Yep. It said at this point, Coach Prime should want to call his own plays, right? If he failed, at least he'll know what's being sabotaged. You know what? Facts. I said it earlier today when I was reading people's comments on multiple platforms. I said, you know what? I'm going to go out here and get me somebody else to do it myself, because at least if I lose, I'm losing not because I'm being set up, but I'm just losing because I'm not good at what I'm doing. We are being set up. You can see that the play calling in this game was worse than last year. Last year. You probably can go pull up the Nebraska game and see a lot of parallels, because that's what it's given. Shador and Travis probably did most of the coaching. I think Shador and Travis were allowed to call their own plays or to tell the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator what they see. They better go back to that. One target for an NFL type receiver. There you go, that boy. People gonna be telling. I know people hitting him up and telling him to go. That's all they've been talking about today. Free Omarion. That's what they saying. That's what they saying. It said, do you think Coach Prime can choose his own OC? I think so. Or does the athletic director have to approve? I'm sure they have to approve. But I will say this. I don't know where he got them guys from in year one. I always questioned if Colorado had a hand in choosing those guys, because I don't know what the condition was. I said to myself, Coach Prime should have just stayed at Jackson State. He was successful there. They don't talk about that. And then after Sean Lewis and that whole situation was a hot mess, then he had this whole theory of the NFL coaches, which I understand, right? But Pat Schumer calling the worst game this year than last year. And now everybody can see that Shador was the one quarterback in the plays, that he was saving the game. And when I saw the same thing happen to Caden, Coach Schumer sent Caden out to the right side of the O-line still weak. It's just telling you this is what happened last year to Shador. That's how everybody can see it. That's why a lot of people under Shador's comments telling him they miss him, showing the Golden Arm Award, talking about his jersey should be retired twice because it deserves to be retired. Now you see what he really did, breaking 100 records, dealing with Schumer, who obviously had some conversations with the NFL, because the assistant coach that said, and Shador calls his own plays. How you know that? How you know that? How you know that? And then right before the draft, Pat Schumer goes and says Shador is comparable to Daniel Jones. Like, see all of that right there. That's just too much, right? That's just too much. So to me, Shador was doing what needs to be done, because that's what he does. He was doing what needs to be done. You could see with the play calling, it's 130 yards not even accounted for with the wide receivers. That's intentional. You can't sit up here and play the UCF game and the Baylor game and all of these games with Travis Hunter, who won the Heisman, and you shut down the next Heisman winner. You shut down Omarion, who could be the next Heisman winner, 39 yards a catch. You trying to tell me that he couldn't have had 2 catches for 80 yards? You trying to tell me he couldn't pick up Travis's yard, or it couldn't be spread out between Sincere Brown and Omarion and Draylon or somebody? But you got running backs running full steam down the field instead of Gibson, who has that speed, instead of Sincere, who has the height to go up against the defense for Georgia Tech. That man been coaching for 23 years. He knew exactly what he was doing because you can look at the effects it's having on a lot of things. It's gonna have an effect on future revenue for TV. People gonna get like, okay, I don't want to keep doing this. Year 3 gonna be a wash like year 1. And I don't know why Coach Prime would expect it to be any different. He should have reviewed the game plan because you can't tell me that Pat Schumer showed this to you and then you tell, say, in a press conference that you hate that Caden, disappointed that how Caden was used. That means you're not even looking at the game plan. You trusting Pat Schumer blind. How? This man basically told the NFL, your son gonna be the next Daniel Jones. That makes no sense. That's not trusting. That's something else. So unless his contract says that he can't fire Pat Schumer, the school has to agree. That's a setup if it is. Then I have no idea why we would go into this Delaware game with Pat Schumer when we have Byron Leftwich and Brett Bertolone from Jackson State. That man been waiting long enough. Give him the goddamn headset and send Leftwich up there with him and let them two decide. But you need to move Pat Schumer the hell out the way. I'm like, he know how CU play ball. Hell now, to the now. Facts. It said the loss will hang on them even at 4-1 and 7-2 record. We will see in January. People still talking about this. Yeah, they're gonna be like, nah, don't invite them to this bowl game because they couldn't even beat Georgia Tech. Then we're gonna be stuck with some Rudy bowl game again. Yeah, this is how we get disrespected. And I don't like what it's doing to Caden's career. He has the right to miss passes. Shedeur wasn't a perfect passer. But the man didn't even get what he needed from his OC that he sat next to every day in practice. That's evil. He should have felt some kind of way about that young man, but he didn't. He didn't. And he know he trying to go to the league. He knows that Dominique Ponder is sitting around him and Caden Salt is sitting around him because they want to learn. They respect him. And he didn't give a damn in that game plan. And Ohio State was the Ohio State game. They gave so much grace to Arch Manning. They just blamed the offensive coordinator right off the bat. They blamed the offensive coordinator and the coach. And I said, oh, they're going to fire Sarkisian. I said, they're going to fire him. Watch what I tell you. They'll fire him before they say it's Arch Manning's fault. But then now it's Caden's fault. Nobody says anything about Pat Schumer. Pat Schumer should have been the one sitting there on the podium explaining his damn play calling. Even the announcers, if you listen to one of the games, if you rewatch it, the announcers were like, yeah, it's a shame we don't see this young man throwing the ball like that. He knew what he was doing. Let's see if Coach Prime let him keep doing it. Schumer been done a while. It said no imagination, time to retire. Shedeur made him look good. Facts. And that's another thing too. When Coach Prime brought him in because Lewis was a problem, I get it. You could have made him the interim. But clearly there was something that Shedeur still needed to do for the team to be great, right? So at the end of last season, he should have already been getting Bert Bartolone ready or Byron Leftwich ready. I heard him say they're going to have this straightened by next week. I don't want Pat Schumer with no. We need some accountability. We don't need a Band-Aid. These players need to be comfortable. They need to know. Caden needs to know in the pocket that the right personnel is out there. And if he's sent to the right, then he know that he need to go the damn other way. He don't have the ability to call those audibles like Shedeur. So they're handicapping him. That's not right. He needs confidence. All of these players need confidence. Hell, your recruits need confidence right now. I'm like, look, the last thing I want to see is year 1 repeat itself. And what do I mean by that? We be set up, in game 4, what's going on. And you just let it slide all the way out to the season. Just the season, just a wash. Can't do nothing different. I don't want to see that. He gonna get fired if that happened. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But I don't want to see that. And I felt like the second half, somebody else should have been calling the plays. It said, why didn't Coach Prime call a timeout? I have no idea. People say that's a problem too. Bad clock management. It said Schumer needs to be demoted at the very least. Yeah, he making no adjustments. No lies told here. It said hard choice for coach, but it has been done before. Game number 3. He's hurt in recruiting long term. That's what I'm saying. Your long-term pipeline gonna dry up. Your head recruiter gonna walk right on out the door because he gonna be sick of bringing these kids in, and you just wasting their talent. RK from Denver was fire. I heard him. I listened to what he said. Why aren't we seeing Omarion Miller? Pat Schumer, if I'm the wide receiver coach, what the hell you have me do all this work for if you just gonna throw the ball to the running backs? I'm like, whose idea was that? And why was that not approved before the game started? Man, you can't trust that man with the game plan. He got too much power and he used it. He a gatekeeper. That's what he is. NCAA football, not like NCAA basketball. You go 8-1, it's crucial. You go 18-11 and can go to March Madness road for Final Four. Yep, that's facts. They look at that. Even the bowl games that we get. Like last year, we didn't have a choice because of the Alamo Bowl and that whole contract from the Pac-12. Hell, we're not gonna get to the good bowl games. They gonna hold this above our head if we are an inch away from. If it's between us and another team, like say Kansas State, for say the 12-team playoff, they ain't gonna go with us. Oh, they could even beat Georgia Tech. The fact that we was whipping up on Georgia Tech for the whole first quarter, had 3 opportunities that the defense forced and Pat Schumer wasted, it is imperative that Coach Prime makes a change at OC play calling immediately. And the change is not a talking to Pat Schumer. We are past that. It said apparently it's just not Pat Schumer calling bad plays. I watched some bad plays called today from LSU. See, here's the problem with CU. This feels like this very triggering. It was very triggering to see Caden run out to the right and the right tackle not protect him, because that's what they did to Shador. That's how everybody instantly knew, oh, Shador actually was good. Yeah. And that means Coach Prime know how to put a stop to it. And look at how many times his son got sacked last year. Was that even necessary? Did you know Schumer was a problem last year? You gonna let him be a problem this year? That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff that get people fired. You're bad management if you have to keep hiring people over and over and over for the same position, and then when they become a problem, you don't check it. You don't correct it. You don't put an end to it. You just let it bleed. That's what happened in year 1. Excuses for Arch. Facts. Excuses for Arch Manning. They was immediately. Oh my God. What's going on with the play calling? Oh my God. That was crazy to me. I had to turn the game off. I said, I don't believe I'm hearing this. Oh my God. I wonder if Eli Manning and Peyton Manning are here, what they thinking about this? What is going on with the coaching? When it came to Arch Manning, it was all the offensive coordinator and the coaching, including Sarkisian, who they're probably going to try to fire next week. I felt like they tried to fire him last year because he didn't want to start Arch Manning. He wanted to start Quinn Ewers, and that was a thing down there. So I had to turn the game off, y'all. I was like, that's crazy, because when it's Shador and Caden, they are the problem. And really and truly, it's Pat Schumer. And that's who need to be at that podium. People were even talking about how Florida State was so trash last year. They went out and got a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator, and it's working. You see, you can't be afraid to make changes at those positions. Coach Prime gonna have to make the change. Your explanation that lack of touches says it all. Number 4, 1 touch. That's Pat. Facts. People are not happy about that. They know these guys trying to get to the league. You think he don't know that? You don't think he don't know Caden who's sitting next to him, Ponder who's sitting in front of him? You don't think these boys trying to get somewhere, trying to learn from him, and he's shutting them down like that? But that's evil. That's evil. I don't like that. I don't like that. He lucky they ain't my kids. Arch Manning is overrated. Facts. And that's what they don't want to say. They didn't want to say it. They just want to blame the OC. I'm like, damn, we can't even blame the OC. Our quarterbacks take the heat. That just show you the disparity. That's the disparity. All the protection in the world for Arch Manning, all of the grace, the benefit of the doubt, Caden Salter trash. I'm like, no. Shador wasn't trash, and Caden Salter not trash. The common denominator that's trash is Pat Schumer. He's severely overrated. That's what people said, right? 38 passing yards in the 4th quarter is crazy. Yup. Arch playing with 5 stars, and he's a 2-star. Right. They just want him to make it off his name alone. They just need to go on him and prop him up in a high chair in the draft, because that's what they want to do anyway. They want Arch Manning to come into the league so we can stop talking about Shador. That is not going to happen. They gonna talk about Arch Manning, and we and everybody else, that 2 million people that bought jerseys gonna talk about Shador. And the crazy part is, um, Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry, I think, were at the game on the Ohio State side. And people were like, oh my God, they trying to say they're going to get another quarterback. I said, good. Hashtag free Shador. I want them to get Arch Manning so they can let Shador go. If not this year, next year. Because all they doing is holding him hostage, him and Deshaun Watson. Did y'all know 14 teams wanted Deshaun Watson when he left the Texans? And he landed in Cleveland just like Shador landed in Cleveland. And Kevin Stefanski said Deshaun Watson don't work in his system and he a dual threat. And now Shador Sanders don't work in his system and he a pocket passer. That's what's wrong with Pat Schumer. Coach Prime should have just had him for interim to kick Lewis out. But now he got to kick Pat Schumer out because he messing up on purpose. Shador and Travis covered up a lot of flaws. Yup. Pat is doing what he thinks Coach Prime wants, not the caliber of prep. No. There's no way he thinks that. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But when he said he disappointed that Kaden Salter wasn't used properly, that's on Pat Schumer, right? Because nobody else can call plays for Kaden Salter. So that's why I said no. But you could be right. And I know they wanted to use the run game. But as you can see with the UCF game, you can have over 150 yards in a run and still have 500-yard game, right? This game was winnable. They didn't even control the controllables, but Pat Schumer did Georgia Tech's job. Georgia Tech didn't even have to come to Folsom and do its job. And when they messed up, we were up top. And then it's like he just held the offense back by three and out a couple of times, not capitalizing off of the packages, the gifts, the turnovers. It's like he was like, nah, I don't want to do that. So let me just, we got the first one. And it's funny, when we got the first one, it's like, I wasn't expecting this to happen. But because Georgia Tech was looking bad, it's like Pat Schumer had to help sit them upright, and he didn't give a damn what it cost CU. That's how I feel about it. Sherman didn't do anything in the NFL. That's why he's out. Yeah, and I don't know if he was a recommendation to Coach Prime. I want to know who made that recommendation, because it's the same person who made the recommendation that Shador go to Cleveland. I'm just going to put it out there because that's crazy. You're not going to tell me that's a coincidence. Come on now. Stefanski used to work for Schumer. Stefanski didn't want Shador there. Come on now. It said, why are we throwing sideline passes? That's all he was calling. Arch was in over his head. Facts. They was just hyping him up. Now that's some nepotism hype right there. Manning, that's just nepotism hype. How are the announcers wondering if Arch Manning and Eli Manning and wondering what the hell they gonna say? They gonna say he only got 38 yards in the fourth quarter. What else you want him to say? I was like, I did like this. I said, I can't do it. Yep, people want Omarion gone. It said, to be honest, he didn't make adjustments right away with his own son. It said, Coach Prime keep moving the score, making the same mistakes like OC, timeouts. He just let stuff happen. It said Prime has been relying on his son. Here's what I kind of think about that. And it's crazy. But what I really think he thinks, here's what I don't understand. I'm just gonna say it. I don't understand how we in year 2, in game 1, before the half, anybody watching can easily identify that Pat Schumer is the problem, and Shador was saving the team. Yeah, Travis making hella catches, but still, Shador had to throw the ball, right? I don't understand how that could happen in year 2. So did it not happen in year 1? Meaning last year for Pat Schumer? Like, I saw, we see the difference, right? But everybody says Shador was doing his own thing. And we do know that Coach Prime said that the OC and DC will ask Shador and Travis what they see out there because they the ones that are out there. I have a feeling that's not happening right now, right? See, the Nebraska game is always the game you got to go back to because there was something on the line. Just like last night, it was a lot on the line. Whether people know it or not, it was. You know, I don't know how Pat Schumer goes from coaching and Shador is the quarterback and Travis Hunter the Heisman winner, and you just shut all of that down in this one game. I want y'all to know he shut down Kaden Salter. Just shut it down. The passing, the running, he shut it all down. He the one called the plays. He shut down the receivers. You're not going to tell me that's not intentional. So now that Shador gone, and we had 400 yards a game or 300 yards a game, I'm going to just shut all that down. Does that make any sense to you? Does that make any sense to you? We were successful doing something that maybe I don't typically do, right? We were successful airing it out. We had a balanced run game like the UCF. Always going to be the perfect balance of a game for us. Even capitalize off the same thing we didn't capitalize off tonight. They had fumbles and turnovers, 2 and 2. Interception, fumbles, 2 and 2. We capitalized. That's why the score was lopsided, 48-21. That was the game we played yesterday, except for Pat Schumer chose not to capitalize off the turnovers, maybe one of the three, right? He chose to lock down the RPO, the run pass option, the air raid offense. He chose to lock it all down. And the receivers. See, when you lock down the receivers, I got to side eye you because who does that? I have never in my entire life seen a team that don't want to throw to the receivers. They say that's who Cleveland is. And I looked at Cleveland. We're going to do this week. We're going to look into Cleveland's O-line. I studied their O-line. Atrocious. They expect it to be atrocious this year, which is why y'all want Shador on the bench. Let him have fun with his new friends. Just have fun with your new friends. They want him to dress out knowing they O-line is trash and they're going to pick a game that they think he going to fail in. So if anybody from the other team stop by here, let him make it. That's all I want you to do. Just let him make it. Just let it happen. Let it happen because it's not supposed to happen. So let it happen. So I have never in all my football, modern times, watched a game where they don't use the wide receivers, they use the running backs for pass. I never. I just maybe a little short pass, like Michael Walsh, a little short pass, but that's like once or twice. What did Seaton say? Seaton say you can't be predictable. You have to play chess out here. You have to use a run PO. You have a quarterback. You have to use his legs. Who does that? Who gets a dual threat QB and shut him down? Oh, I know. Jeff Fisher when it came to Vince Young. This is exactly what you saw with Caden is what they did to Vince Young. Now, we all know he was a dual threat, but Jeff Fisher wanted Andrew Luck from Stanford, somebody like that, Luck. He wanted a pocket passer, which is what Shador is. The league can't make up his mind. So he shut down the duelist of the dual threats. Still to this day, they say he the best college quarterback. Vince Young. Because that's not what you wanted. Pat Schumer worked for Coach Prime. It should be what Coach Prime wants. And if you say out loud that Coach Prime don't want Salter to succeed, I don't think I will believe you. Why wouldn't he want that? Why wouldn't he want Omarion and the other wide receivers to succeed? Let's put on Coach Prime. Because I do find it hard to believe that you didn't know what the game plan was going to be. Now, why would I let this negligence happen? You can't say he want to quit and go to the league because you see that ain't going to happen, right? That's just not going to happen. Yeah, we wishing Shador go to Dallas just because we want him to hell out of Cleveland, but that probably ain't going to happen either. In fact, Jerry Jones, just because he's not on the sideline at the Texas-Ohio game, likely has his sights set on a Cade Klubnik or one of these other quarterbacks coming out at the top. Even Lenore Sellers. Maybe, maybe not. So, barring he can't go nowhere, why would he allow Pat Schumer to shut out the receivers and Kaden Salter? I need y'all to answer that question. Do y'all really think he would do that? If so, tell me why. We'll come back to it. Why the hell isn't Omarion starting? Well, now he has tweaked his hamstring, so he might not be available next week. Arch was throwing dirt balls. Yes. Next portal opening will sell a ton. It sure will. They gonna get up out of there. Colton Hood probably looking back today thinking, oh God, I'm glad I went. He had a good day today. Sure did. Coach was loving him on the side and giving him his attaboys, and he just balled out like he did at CU. Hella say Coach Prime must be stubborn. Nah, that could be it. I like Coach, but he's stubborn. Okay, that's what you think it is. Brian, why you laughing? It said the season was set up for CU to make the 12-team playoff to the football championship. Facts. Facts. And so what they going to do, I don't care how far we get, they're going to be like, yeah, we can't let you into the 12-team playoffs because, yeah, you know, you beat Georgia Tech. I mean, you couldn't beat Georgia Tech. That's what's going to happen. See, I felt like last year when we were in first place for the Big 12, we got cheated out of, I think, Kansas and Kansas State. Kansas State first, then Kansas. Those two games right there. And see, this year they know they can't do the same thing twice because we're going to talk about it. So they already took care of it in game one with Pat Schumer's help. Gatekeeper. Pat Schumer's a gatekeeper. He's a gatekeeper. It said, James said, no Big 12 juggernauts and a mid ACC team that hasn't dominated nothing in this conference. Yeah. And then we got to play ASU and ISU. Ooh, Lord, have mercy. If y'all watch them two play, if you didn't go watch it, go watch those two play. They played in Ireland. Iowa State and Arizona State. I want you to go watch that game. It said by Sunday, Coach Leftwich should be announced as a new OC. I totally agree. Coach Leftwich, I'm not mad at the other guy, Brett Bertolone. Why not him? He came from Jackson State. They won 2 years in a row over there. I mean, if you didn't believe in it, why bring him to CU? Omarion needs to get the hell out of there. That's what people are saying. That's what people are saying. Free Omarion. And Byron, we trust. Super Bowl OC Leftwich. Yep. It said Omarion didn't start the game. I don't think Omarion had but one target, and it wasn't even in the first or the second quarter. He only had one target, so you could look and see when it was. Do you think anyone in Prime's camp is telling him this stuff? I have to imagine. I don't know why he is loyal to people that are clearly not loyal to him. Schumer needs to be gone tonight. I agree, that boy. It said 55 is Kareem Johnson. Yeah, I know. Oh, what did I say? Harden or something like that? Okay, thank you. It said agreed. He has to be demoted. Yeah, he got to be demoted. It said they need to put Tyler Brown back on the offensive line. They also sure kept Michael Welch in the game. Yeah. It wasn't all on Pat Schumer. The receivers they were playing cannot get separation. I don't know. Would Omarion getting one target? I don't know. And they only had 12 passing plays in the first half of the game? No, absolutely not. People in Colorado know Schumer is hot garbage. I think so. 53 is Larry Johnson. Yep, 53 and 55. To be on the lookout for 53 and 55. They should never touch the field again. Screen good. Thank you. It's a honest opinion. I think CU should start Juju because Kaden Salter is a runner and we have too many weapons not getting touches. CU's offense is a pocket passer offense. What's your take? Hey, Travis, how you doing? I think Juju need to stay where he is. I think Pat Schumer can't be trusted, and all he gonna do is just get Juju sacked. Juju is a pocket passer like Shador, but he's young. I don't know if he has that type of escapability. You see, Kaden is not used to being sacked, and he was only sacked once. But there were a lot of plays he ran out of bounds by Georgia Tech people, and when you go back and look, even in the first half, the O-line wasn't covering for him. That's where I got 53 from, and I already knew what happened to 55. Go back and look at the first full half of the game. It's on YouTube. Just watch the first half. It's obvious. They were not blocking for Caden. That's why he wasn't comfortable. He probably never had an O-line that didn't block for him before. What happened to Shador don't happen everywhere. It said play calling is the OC. You have to call plays to go downfield, not side to side. Right. And Michael goes to the side a lot. They said Schumer was calling those plays. That's how you stunt the game. Same old plays from last year. I totally agree. Because last year, I was like, why is Michael just running to the side? That's what Pat Schumer was calling. He don't even call a good run game. And Simeon Price is the only one that could get through the middle. And as you see, they kept putting Michael back in there, running to the side. When you run to the side, it's like you must need to pick up half a yard because you're supposed to run forward to get to a first down. But, again, it makes what's his name? Marshall Faulk look like he didn't do nothing. That's what I told y'all a lot happened last night. Hold on for 1 second. So yeah, a lot really happened last night. That's what people don't. What I mean, like, there's so many things that happened last night that were negatively affected. So um, honestly, I do believe that Caden was brought in to be a run pass option, QB, a passer like Shador, deep ball accuracy. He does have it, right? I think we need to utilize that, right? We don't have Travis, right? And if you think we don't have Travis, and you just want to keep running the ball, but you're running the same play, you're giving the game away. You're giving the game away. We have 130 yards unaccounted for from one person that could have been split up across 3 people if you think we don't have a Travis Hunter. But how do we know? Because I didn't get to see nobody. That's not good. That's not good for recruiting. If I'm the recruiter, I'm mad. I went and got these guys and say, hey, you get to come to see you. You get to ball out. That's what people are saying. They are like, so is Coach Prime just a good motivational speaker? Because he can get the players. He can talk a good game, but can he win the big games? Georgia Tech was a big game, non-conference or not. So I think Caden needs to be used the way he was brought in. I think Juju needs to sit until this OC situation is solved. Juju's young. People don't understand that. He don't have the experience that Shador had to gain because of year 1. He probably wouldn't even be like that. Get Leftwich involved in K-Salt shines. I thought they were working with. I thought Leftwich was working with the quarterbacks. That's what I thought. Again, I don't know. Yep. That's the problem. That's the problem. It said Michael is our best running back, hands down. I'm not so sure about that. Well, maybe if he gets the right plays, But all that running to the side, that's got to stop. He got to go up the middle. You didn't see Georgia Tech running back run side to side. You saw him run up the middle a lot. And then when he got in the open field, he ran to the sideline. You can't run to the sideline first because you're going to run out of bounds. And that is from last year. Imagine if Shador had this line with these receivers. The right tackle was still a problem. Hey, Freeman, how you doing? Thank you for your support. I appreciate it, too. It said, it's Pat Schumer's fault. He's the offensive coordinator. Facts. O has been the best receiver for 3 years. Yep. Trackhawk brings a whole new dimension, though. Here's the thing. I don't mind Trackhawk being in the game, but he can't replace the entire wide receiver core. No. He's a running back. I don't mind him being used to keep people guessing because, like Jordan Seaton said, you're supposed to be playing chess out here. No, at some point he became predictable too because you just keep doing the same thing. It's like Pat Schumer got 5 plays and he just rotate them. And they don't involve the quarterback doing anything other than handing off the ball to the running back or a short pass. That's one of the others. That's it. It's like he just got like 5 carousel of plays. You had folks scared to tackle. That's crazy. Salter can play most definitely. The game started like a battle. Yep. It said they will make adjustments moving forward. Yeah, we gonna see. we gonna see. We gonna see because they showed didn't make none in game one. What adjustments did they make in game one? What adjustments did they make in game one? Let me know. Caden should have used his legs more. Was he allowed to? Because I don't think he was. I don't think he was. This just one game. Okay, this is not one game. This is a repeat of year one and some of year two. It's not one game. It's not one game at all. Pat Schumer was the OC last year. And what we're saying in year three is this is going to be on Coach Prime if year three turns into year one because Pat Schumer was here last year and was a problem. That's what we're saying. It's called accountability. I'm holding court on K-Salt until I see him with another OC. K can play. Facts. I want to see you to win this game because of the potential of running that Big 12 schedule. Yep, I totally agree. It said no longer can you be denied like Marshall, Utah, and Boise State used to get treated with a 12-team playoff. Okay. Unfortunately, Coach Prime is getting exposed. It said, I'm pulling for him to change the narrative. I mean, I don't think he's being exposed. I think he's being put in the hot seat. Here's what I mean by that. He's his back is against the wall. That's what I mean. Meaning you have to make a change. If you want to sit down and talk to Pat Schumer and say, now we can't do this. We got to get the wide receivers involved. We got to get the quarterback involved. Do you really trust that at this point? You really have to tell the man that. He was here last year. He know what kind of game we played. We should be playing the same game, but even better because Caden can use his legs. Does Caden know he could just run off and switch up the play? I don't know. I don't get the impression that he can. I see where he sit every single day. He needs to move. He need to move chairs. He need to move the hell away from Pat Schumer because he the one that got the handcuffs on you. So, announcers were even ragging on Pat. Yeah, it was obvious. Even when the cameraman went up there to the booth and just pointed the camera at him, he was saying what we were saying. Every time CU tackled, they ended up on the bottom of the player. He got to put his foot down. Yep, he got to do it. 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 Pat has anonymity with Coach. It said he'll understand his removal, but it has to be done now. I don't know why he got anonymity. It said now the run game looks good. It's just Salter. He has to run the ball, not try to pass it. Salter got to follow the plays. Salter is not Shador. Salter is not Haynes King out there with a list of plays around his waist and he can call whatever. If you notice, Haynes King was calling their own plays. Caden Salter was doing like this so he could hear the plays. There's the difference. He's not Shador. He can't do that. And people would look at how mad the NFL was that Shador was calling his own plays. Caden is trying to get to the NFL despite what happened. He don't want to end up like Shador, which you probably gonna end up like that anyway. But he don't want to end up like Shador, which means he don't want to cross nobody. And he don't want nobody saying when he come out of school, oh, he was just calling his own plays. He's trying to get there doing what he thinks is the right way and not end up in the same situation as Shador in the draft. Six-five receiver, don't use. Facts. How do you not use Sincere Brown? Coach Prime said K Salter should have been running the ball more than trying to pass the ball because what he brought him in to be was a dual threat, not trying to prove he can be somebody else. He shouldn't even say that to that man because he know he can't call his own plays. If so, he wouldn't be trying to hear what the hell coming through the helmet. He'd have that little thing. I never saw him look anywhere on his body for a play, which meant he can't call his own plays. It said, we have a good squad, one game. It said, reload, but Pat has to go, coach. He has to go. Yeah, he got to go. He got to go. It said Pat Schumer was supposed to correct Salter during the game. Facts. Bubble screen. That's what it is. The bubble screen nightmares. Yep. Thank you so much, TV. It said Schumer needed to be on the field with Salter so he could sit side by side with him instead of calling plays and talking to Salter from the booth. And he couldn't hear. He couldn't hear. That's all it is. That's all it is. He didn't try to make it easy. What did Jordan Seaton say? Football is not difficult. People making it difficult. He made it harder. He made it harder to communicate. You know you couldn't hear. People act like Pat Schumer is year one. That's Caden Salter. This Caden Salter's first game. This not Pat Schumer's first CU game. He know better. This is on him. It's okay for Caden to be nervous. But the fact that Pat Schumer couldn't be down there, he didn't know he knew the game was sold out. All the games sold out. So why you don't be on the field like they saying so that he could understand and hear you so there's no miscommunication? I was on another platform. Somebody in the comments said he had met Leftwich in a grocery store and asked him if he was OC, and Leftwich told him, no, there's too much politics. See, there you go. Because I know I hadn't seen the man. I know I hadn't seen the man. I know I had not seen the man. I hadn't seen him. I don't know what he looked like, but the one time I did see him, the one time I did see him, he was on the field and I saw Juju. And I said, well, is he helping Caden too, or is he just helping Juju? Because that's kind of crazy, right? And they said he was working with all of the quarterbacks. I didn't see him last night, so he should have been on the side helping. If he's a coordinator, analyst, he should have been right there helping Caden. Politics gone. Yep. Move. That's it. All you got to do is remove Pat Schumer. And that's where I think the problem comes in. I'm not sure if he can. I'm starting to wonder. Maybe he can't. Maybe he can. I don't know. Loyalty is a boundary. Fool me once last year. Shame on you. Fool me twice. That's it, that wig. That's it. That's what I mean. This year is not going to happen. They will buy out that contract. Yup. When they say Schumer Stefanski connection, facts B. Thomas. When they say, oh, they going to make adjustments. If you don't make adjustments to the play calling, this is just year one, 3 games earlier than anticipated, because it ain't going to change. If you can't move Pat Schumer out the way and get somebody else in to call the offense that you had last year, but even better because you have a dual threat, then what you doing? You just hoarding talent. Like the NFL, you just hoarding talent that you're not going to ever use. How did Pat Schumer ever think he could get away with calling that type of offense with the talent that school has? When they showed you film all summer, they showed you quarterbacks to the receivers catching these amazing catches, and they didn't even get utilized that way. What made Pat Schumer think he can call that kind of play? And when they got to halftime, why wasn't he corrected? Why wasn't somebody else put up there to call the plays? That's a problem. That means you already know what's getting ready to happen if you allow Pat Schumer to continue on. How can you trust Pat Schumer to continue on with what you telling him to do? You're just going to end up with the same situation with year one. That's it. They're going to be trying to cut you off at the knees. That's all it is. Watch them give the job to Livingston. Miss Pamela, he already got the contract for it. So, yes. And I think he know it, too. I do. I hate to say it. Rick about to step in. He ain't losing. He ain't finna be. First of all, Rick George ain't finna let them fire him. Understand that. His job will be on the line, too, if he just sit there and let Coach Prime go all the way to the season with the same foolishness from year one. Nope. That's it. I see Livingston getting the job. He already set up for it. Remember, Livingston got his contract before Coach Prime did. It said Brett is a good play caller. Then he should have on the headset. If Byron Leftwich feels like it's too much politics, which is fine. If Brett came from Jackson State, that means you know who he is. Why he just didn't get the job in the first place? Cut all that NFL crap out, because it ain't working for you. It's not working for you. Matter of fact, that's the last thing you want to do at this moment. That's the last thing, because hell, for all we know, Pat Schumer auditioning for a job right now. And don't be surprised if he end up in Cleveland. Oh, that would just be crazy. That would just be insane. As a quarterback coach or something like that. We got a fox in the hen house. We sure do. You're good. That's exactly what I was thinking. Kay was at, mentally. I think Caden Salter is that guy. I just hate what they doing. And it's not just Caden Salter that's going to be negatively affected. Y'all saw Jordan Seaton. He was upset. Before that little clip, he was upset. You could see him sitting there before they started asking questions. And what did he say? Right? It's not, he said, people making it difficult. You're supposed to be playing chess out here, meaning you're supposed to keep the other team guessing. You have a quarterback. Let him use his legs. That ain't on Caden. You, if you go watch Caden highlights, what did I say Caden likes? He loves the run pass option. He would run it if he thought he could. Thank you, Papa. How you doing? Coach Prime edge isn't what it used to be since the horrific NFL draft. Could be, could be, could be. I mean, the fact that after the draft, CU games still sold out. That was love for Coach Prime, right? But people gonna be short patient with seeing year one run back if it's up there in the booth, and that's the problem. And then I asked the question: did you know he was a problem last year and left Shador out there to get sacked like that? Because when Coach Prime was asked about Shador, he said we just couldn't protect him. I was like, what? You couldn't go down there and remove the offensive line coach and let somebody else call the plays? Or make them adjust? Because he even said it. If y'all don't make the adjustments, I will. All I know is win or lose at Delaware. See, it ain't about winning and losing no more. It's what the game looked like. People not necessarily mad because we lost to Georgia Tech. People mad because we had that game and didn't do anything with the opportunities. We gave it to Georgia Tech. We didn't just give it to them by being sloppy. Let's be honest here. Them new guys that came in did the work on defense. Why is that the case? Why is it the year one guys at the top of the list with the tackles and the assisted tackles, and the guys from last year on the line at the bottom with not even their own tackle? What is that about? So only the new guys paid attention? Why do other guys even have a scholarship if that's all you're going to do? See, that's not making no sense to me. That's not making no sense to me. It said B. Thomas is bigger than football and probably doesn't have the control. That's what people are starting to realize. People are wondering, like, what did I say about year one? I said, did he really hire the OC and the DC in year one? Or did they tell him on the condition that we want you to coach, we already picked the OC and DC? Because I really think Lewis thought he was going to oust Coach Prime and take his job. But that's exactly where the other Lewis, Livingston, is sitting. Livingston is sitting where Lewis thought he was going to be. Livingston already got, what they say, he has the highest paying contract for a defensive coordinator in CU history. That's to keep him there. That's to keep him there. Because they know what they're going to do. They know what they're going to do. Understand that. They know what they're going to do. And if he can't move, Pat Schumer, year one going to look worse than year three. Because the first game was already the worst call game that I've seen outside of Nebraska. Pat Schumer was up in the booth when he should have been on the sidelines because Salter said a lot of time he couldn't hear. Right. You could see Salter trying to hear. He still didn't come down. He still didn't come down. That's just crazy. Just insane. Schumer calling plays was obvious. Yep. Those type of plays. People need to stop putting this on the defense. Right. Leave the defense alone. Like they went out there and got you the ball 3 times and you was 3 and out. Hell, it's like it made them mad that we unexpectedly got the ball. And they're like, okay, they scored with it. I didn't want that to happen. So let's just gloss past the other 2 turnovers and we're going to keep it moving. It's like Pat Schumer was just giving Georgia Tech time to figure it out. That's why Hood and Savion left. Probably. I didn't know why they left. I just know they up and left. Don't like how Salter called his players out. I didn't hear him call nobody. What did he say? He's a winner when he runs, and that's what he stopped. Now, what do we know? The wide receiver core, winners. Caden Salter, a winner when he runs. 2 rushing touchdowns against New Mexico. That's his best asset. That's what Pat Schumer cut off. And then he didn't get him warmed up so he could pass the ball. And when it worked, he went away from it. How many times should Omarion have been a target if he secured a 39-yard catch? More than once. That's the answer. More than once. That tell you he didn't want that. What he wanted was what you saw a lot of. the running backs catching the ball. He didn't even use the tight end. That's crazy. Got to make it work. The losing to offensive coordinators in 3 years isn't a good look. Facts. And that's why I think he would be hesitant to remove Pat Schumer, because he was hesitant to remove Sean Lewis. And I didn't like how that dragged out all season. That was a drain on the program from within, right? And then here we are, year 3. You have somebody from last year that you got to know going to be a problem this year. And you don't check the game plan. You let him call that without your receivers that it's basically like Pat Schumer did what the hell he wanted to do. But then if he did, you had the opportunity to correct it at the half, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. 12 offensive plays in the second half. First half, I think, was 23, and we only had 7 points. In the first quarter, maybe a field goal in the second one. Second half, what do we have? 6 points total. It's not like he wasn't there last year, y'all. You can't let Pat Schumer make it, because he was under CU offense before or over it, however you want to do it. He was a part of it. However it went last year, he saw it be successful with a pocket passer with legs. And then you go get a dual threat with legs and you shut him down. So we're going to get out of here, y'all. No excuses. There's no excuses on no side. I feel sorry for the kids. When the first portal open, it's going to be, don't be surprised. This ain't a good look. It don't even have to be this way, because when you damned if you do and you damned if you don't, do what makes sense, what's right. Get somebody else to call plays. If you're going to be pissed off anyway and set you up, you're going to sit there and let him do it. Again, if year 3 look like year 1, this ain't going to be good. So we'll see what happens. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow night. But I'm already working on our content for Monday. Now that this connection between Pat Schumer and Stefanski is known, and it makes absolutely no sense to me how that could happen, because I know it ain't a coincidence that Shador is being held back by Stefanski and Coach Prime is being held back by Pat Schumer, who Stefanski used to work for. Nah. So anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. The premieres come out during the day. If y'all haven't watched certain things, I drop videos and stuff through the day. If you say premiere, I'm not live. It was live when I covered it, but I'm not physically on camera, but I put the content out because a lot of people ask for it because they can't make the live streams. So the live stream is for people if you can make it, and for premieres, if you want to watch the replay of some content, or if you can't make the live. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna get out of here. This was awesome. Thank y'all so much. We'll see what happens. Delaware is coming. We know the changes that need to be made coming up to Delaware, and the most crucial change is the change at offensive play calling. If you don't change that, then I don't know what you're gonna do. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.